Hi everybody. The new Ford Ranger has been back on the market in North America for over 1 full year now. That means that here at TFL we've done just about every test you can do with this truck, well, except for one. In this video, I'm gonna go out there and find the mud. I'm gonna run up the Hydroline trail. We're gonna test all the 4x4 and traction control systems on this truck, and we will see if this Ranger FX4 is truly a good off-road mid-size pickup. And you know what, guys? I can't wait for it. I want to see how this truck reacts when I beat on it a little bit. So what are we waiting for? Let's go. Before we go to the mud though, let me just cruise the trails here and I can tell you a few things about this Ranger. So first of all, when you go for the FX4 package on the Ranger, and you can get it on any trim level, that's important to note. We have a Lariat here, this is the luxury trim, but yes, you can still get FX4. You're gonna get a skid plate up front, you're going to get a rear locking differential, you're going to get off-road tuned suspension, you know, specific shocks just for this FX4 model, and then you're also gonna get Ford's trail control, off-road, cruise control setup. And if you'll excuse me 1 second, there's a tree on the trail. Okay, we had a big storm roll through about, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, and I haven't even been out on this trail since, so when you own trails, constant maintenance is a really big deal. All right, now you know what FX4 is, and I'm here on one of the tighter trails that we have on our property, and so far I'm loving the dimensions of this Ranger, absolutely. It's really nice and tight and small. Now that is most mid-sized trucks. However, there's one difference, and that is the Ranger here seems to have a nice high seating position, and I can really see down over the hood. Similar to a Jeep Gladiator. I gotta turn these parking sensors off. They're gonna drive me crazy. Of course they're going off because I'm so close to trees and rocks and whatnot. The seating position here is similar to the Jeep Gladiator. It's very tall. I can see right to the front of my hood. That is actually unlike the Chevy Colorado. The Chevy, you sit kind of deep down in that truck, and it's not, you know, it's a good seating position, it's comfortable, but it does not give you this commanding view. And the Ranger has that, the Jeep has it, the Tacoma kind of has it, but the Tacoma seating position is a whole different story. Yeah, now we're gonna bounce around a bit on these rocks, and oh yeah, the differences between this suspension and the standard suspension are truly obvious. The FX4 here really does a nicer job at swallowing things up and insulating you. However, it's certainly not a high-speed off-road package. Crawling through those rocks, yes, insulated better, but you don't have to get a lot of speed to really find the limit, and I can show you that right now. Slow speed, the suspension differences are clear, but what about when we hit it? Oh, and first of all, this turbocharged engine delivers all of its power down low. You know what? A lot of people were sad that there was no 6-cylinder here in the Ranger. I don't find myself missing it. There's so much low-end torque when you take off. Now, when it comes to suspension, oh yeah. So I'm doing about 35 kilometers an hour there, and that was easily maxing out the suspension. Those were some hard hits back there on some rocks that really aren't all that big. So I gotta say, at slow speeds, I really feel the difference of this FX4. At high speeds, it takes some of that, you know, spine-busting kind of crack out of some of the hits. But yeah, this is not a high-speed truck. You can definitely find the limit pretty quickly when the speeds pick up. So yes, now we're getting to the mud, and I've got my hip waders on today. Why? Well, we're gonna do some trail maintenance. The Hydroline, the deep section right at the end, the deep water section, it's just become so deep, really rutted out, that I don't care which stock truck you bring, none of them are gonna make it up and out of that deep section and up that steep hill. So we've had to do some work. We took the tractor up there and we graded it with the box scraper and did our best to get rid of those ruts, but it didn't help with that sort of steep exit. And the other issue with that steep exit is there's a ton of rocks right there buried in the mud. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. So all these ruts are now gone. It's fairly flat and smooth until you get right there. That is super steep right now, and no trucks are gonna get over that or over these rocks. So we're gonna take them out, and here comes the tractor. Gotta love having equipment. Okay, everybody, that's probably all the rocks we need to remove. There was 4 big ones in there that have been testing skid plates for 2 years, but the mud was getting too deep, and you don't want any surprise rocks to be in your mud pit. So we're cleaning this out and see how the Ranger comes up it. Okay, time to set off. We have the truck in 4 high. We're gonna put her over into mud and ruts mode. And you know what? We're gonna use trail control the entire way down this Hydroline. So let's set it up. All you gotta do is hit the trail control button down here and then use the cruise control set buttons to set the speed. Let's go 10 kilometers an hour. And now let the Ford do its thing. So when you take your foot off the brake, it thinks for a second, and then off we go. My feet are off the brake, off the gas. The truck is now doing all the driving for me. And nice and smooth, nice and quiet. One of the nicest or most interesting things about this system, it allows you to go up to 30 kilometers an hour. So as we're going here, I just crank it up and boom, suddenly we're moving that much quicker. And yes, trail control does work in reverse. So once you need to get out of the way or get unstuck, you can just put it in reverse and allow trail control to do its thing. I've got it set at 2 kilometers an hour right now, and boom, it is that easy. So yes, the trail control system, really smart, takes some of the stress out of off-roading, and I think the one point that I always try to get across with these systems, they do also take some of the fun out of it, there's no doubt. You know, one of the reasons why we come out here is because it's me and my machine versus the trail, not me and my machine and my machine's brain versus the trail, right? However, trail control will actually do things that I can't. It will sense slip and it will redirect power to one specific wheel. It's always sort of just watching and waiting to see what's happening. So yes, there are certain systems where I can admit that I just can't do all the things that trail control can do. And we're almost at the deep part. I'm curious to see how it does in the mud. Now is a good time for me to mention the tires. Opting for the FX4 package will get you a set of hand-cooked Dynapro ATMs. These are all-terrain tires. They look fairly aggressive. Everything's been extremely dry here today, so in the dry, on the dirt, they handle just fine. And then I will say that out on the road, they're barely even noticeable as an AT versus a street tire. So in my experience so far, really, really good with these hand-cooked Dynapros, but that opinion could change momentarily. Let's see what happens here, everybody. Freshly graded by the tractor. Oh, I gotta creep in. Was a little too fast there right off the bat. Okay, creeping in. Let's turn these parking sensors off. Not bad so far. Okay, come on, Ranger. Not bad. Okay, a bit of drag there on the bumper. Oh, but these tires have lots of grip, and now it's the end part. Come on, Ranger, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Yeah, baby. Oh, keep chugging, keep chugging. Oh boy, that wasn't a ton of tire spin. These all-terrains through that thick stuff did a nice job. And let me tell you guys now about that trail maintenance coming out of the end of there without having to worry about smashing into those rocks. This is really gonna help with my testing to make sure that the truck stays safe, but I can really push them through the mud. Now the front end of this truck was definitely dragging. I could feel that as we were going through, but I have to say, I've been really impressed with these hand cooks, and the fact that they're also so quiet on road, there's like so little you give up once you get out on the highway, color me impressed. Okay, turned around, here comes the downhill. I have trail control set at 2 kilometers an hour, which is its slowest setting. And let's see how it does. Oh yeah, see, it controls you real smooth. There's some noise that comes with this system, not quite as much as the Toyota, but there's some kind of ABS braking noise. And the system is fairly smooth. There was a little bit of, you know, kind of the truck ran away for a second and then it got caught. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, there it was again. It kind of comes up and over and then it gets caught up. But now we're getting in the mud. So I'm cranking the speed up, and this is all trail control. All trail control. Yeah, let's go, Ranger. Yes. Oh, I got trail control set now at 17 kilometers an hour, and it is chugging me through here. Nicely done, Ranger. Well, trail control can take some of the fun out of off-roading, but it didn't right there. It is actually really nice, even in that deep stuff, to just set it, forget your feet, and focus on your steering. And like I said, that was pretty impressive. This Ranger off-road punches above its weight. Well, everyone, after having made it through there, I can't help but find myself thinking about the new Ford Bronco. Now, they just rolled that Bronco out, but Bronco will be built on Ford's global midsize architecture. That's the same platform that underpins this Ranger. So the Bronco, while it's totally unique in terms of its suspension setup and powertrains, it will share some of its DNA with this Ranger, and that is not a bad thing. Once again, the size of this thing is really great. The wheelbase here is quite compact as well, and that's all going to be true for the Bronco too. Now, the thing with the Bronco that's sort of interesting to me is that the base model Bronco actually has less ground clearance than this Ranger does. Of course, the Sasquatch package Bronco, or one of those more off-road ready Broncos with 35-inch tires, the thing's got nearly 12 inches of ground clearance, but at the base level, the Bronco probably won't be much better at off-roading than this Ranger is. Well, everyone, the Ranger is seriously muddy, and that can only mean the end of this video. So I do have to tell you, I was impressed. I do think this Ranger FX4 punches above its weight when it comes to midsize off-roaders, but it's still not quite in that top tier. I don't think it's quite to the level of trucks like the ZR2, TRD Pro, or the Gladiator Rubicon. But when, and I do think it's a when, not an if, when the Ford Ranger Raptor arrives, that thing's going to be amazing. Plus, we have that brand new Bronco. Now, it's not coming until spring 2021, so we have to wait for it. But again, if the Ranger's performance today tells me anything, it's that the Ford Bronco and then eventually the Ranger Raptor are going to be unbelievable off-road vehicles, and I can't wait to test them out. So guys, that's it for this one. Let me know what you think of the Ranger, what you think of the work we did up there on the Hydroline. Finally, it's smooth, there's no big rocks, so I should be able to really plow some trucks in there now and not worry about them too much. So like I said, go below, leave me a comment, hit like, hit subscribe, and then come back to the channel for the latest news, views, and real world reviews.